Hey there, it's me, just sitting here thinking about a story that's been rattling around in my head for a while now. One that starts small, but ends up shaking the world a little. Picture this, a 10-year-old girl named Lila Carter, all knees and elbows, clutching a beat-up math notebook like it's her lifeline, stepping onto her first ever flight 317, Chicago to Charlotte, headed for the National Math League Finals. She's got this thrift store Duke University hoodie, a little too big, sleeves flopping over her hands, and she's buzzing with this mix of nerves and pride, you know? This is her moment, her shot to show the world what a kid from a scrappy South Side neighborhood can do. But before the plane even takes off, that dream gets tested in a way no one could have seen coming. Lila's in first class, first class, a scholarship perk she earned by outsmarting thousands of other kids in math competitions. She's settling into this cushy leather seat, sunlight pouring through the window, her notebook open to a page of scribbled equations, when this flight attendant, Monica Wells, strides up. Monica's got this sharp navy blazer, name tag gleaming, and a smile that's more like a smirk. She stops right at Lila's seat, 2C, and says, loud enough for the whole cabin to hear, "Hey, kid, this isn't your spot. You don't belong up here." It's like the air gets sucked out of the plane. Every head turns, business guys with their newspapers, couples with their fancy drinks, all staring at this little girl who's suddenly the center of a scene she didn't ask for. Lila's heart does this flip, like it's trying to jump out of her chest, and her cheeks burn so hot she swears they're glowing. She grips her notebook tighter, her knuckles pale, and thinks, did I mess up? Am I not supposed to be here? Now, let's rewind a bit, because Lila's not just any kid. Back home in Chicago, she's the girl who'd spend hours after school at the library, her mom, Tasha, cheering her on while working double shifts as a nurse. Her grandma, Ruth, a retired teacher with this warm, no-nonsense vibe, would slip little notes into Lila's backpack, stuff like, "You're a star, shine bright," or "Your brain can take you anywhere." Those notes, they're like armor for Lila, especially now, as Monica's words hang in the air like a bad smell. The other passengers are whispering, some looking sorry, others just uncomfortable, like they're watching a car crash in slow motion. Lila's thinking about Ruth's voice. "You belong anywhere you choose to sit, baby girl." And she forces herself to sit up straighter, even as her hands shake. But Monica's not done. She leans in, one hand on the armrest, and says, "I said, move it, kid. This is first class." It's like a punch, and Lila's notebook slips, thumping onto the carpet. She wants to disappear, to melt into the seat, but something in her, maybe it's Ruth's notes, maybe it's her own stubborn spark, says, no way. I earned this. Then comes the moment that changes everything. It's halfway through the flight, and Monica's back, pushing a drink cart. Lila's trying to focus on her quadratic equations, pencil tapping, when Monica stops at her row again. This time, she's holding a pitcher of water, and before Lila can even blink, Monica tilts it deliberately. No question, and a cold wave splashes across Lila's lap, soaking her hoodie, her jeans, her precious notebook. The cabin goes dead quiet, except for the soft drip of water hitting the floor. Monica's voice cuts through, sharp and mean. "Oops, guess some folks don't know how to handle first class." Lila gasps, her breath catching, and she scrambles to save her notebook, the pages curling, her neat pencil marks smudging. The humiliation stings worse than the cold, and she can feel every eye in the cabin on her, some shocked, some pretending not to see. Across the aisle, another flight attendant, Javier Torres, freezes, his face tight, with this mix of anger and apology. He catches Lila's eye, gives her a small nod, like he's saying, "I see you, kid. This ain't right." Lila's fighting tears now, her hands trembling as she blots at her notebook with her sleeve. She's thinking of her mom, working late nights to pay for those math workbooks, and her grandma, ironing her clothes for this trip, humming old gospel tunes. And then she remembers the little voice recorder Tasha tucked into her bag, saying, "If you ever feel small, capture the truth, Lila. Your voice matters." Lila's fingers find it, hidden under her damp papers, and she presses record, the tiny red light blinking like a heartbeat. She's not just a kid anymore, got proof, and she's got fight. Monica struts off, smirking like she's won, but Lila's already planning her next move, her heart pounding with this quiet, fierce resolve. Here's where it gets wild. Lila pulls out her phone, hands still shaky, and dials her dad, Marcus Carter, a city councilman back in Chicago. She whispers into the phone, "Dad, she poured water on me. She keeps saying I don't belong." I recorded it all. There's a pause, and then Marcus's voice comes through, steady but sharp. "Stay put, Lila. I've got you." She hears him switch gears, his tone turning to steel as he says, "This is Councilman Carter. I need the FAA on the line now." Lila's eyes widen. She's 10, but she knows that tone means business. Minutes later, the captain's voice crackles over the intercom, calm but urgent. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've received an FAA directive. All transglobal flights are grounded, effective immediately, pending a civil rights investigation." The cabin erupts in murmurs, passengers looking around, confused, some annoyed. Monica stops dead in the aisle, her face pale, that smirk gone. Javier glances at Lila, his eyes saying, "You did this, kid." And Lila? She's sitting there, soaked and shivering, but feeling this spark of pride, like she's just solved the hardest equation of her life. By the time the plane lands in Charlotte, the story's already spreading. Lila steps off the jet bridge into her mom's arms, Tasha's eyes wet with pride and worry, Ruth pulling her close, whispering, "You're my brave girl." The FAA hearing comes fast, and its intense picture a big room, folding chairs, a banner screaming "Equity" in the skies. Lila's there with her recorder, her evidence playing loud and clear. Monica's voice, "You don't belong here," followed by the splash of water. The commissioner's faces harden, and Monica, in her crisp uniform, can't meet anyone's eyes. Javier testifies too, his voice steady. "I saw it all. That kid did nothing wrong." The ruling comes down like a hammer. Monica's suspended, transglobals ordered to apologize, and they've got to roll out anti-bias training and new rules letting passengers record incidents. Lila's heart's racing, but she's standing tall, her dad's hand on her shoulder, his voice booming. "My daughter's a scholar, not a problem." Fast forward a few months, and Lila's at Transglobal's headquarters, standing at a podium, a crowd of execs and activists around her. She's 10, but her voice is steady as she announces new airline policies, complaint tracking, bias training, recording rights, a diversity board, even a scholarship in her name for kids like her. She says, "I was told I didn't belong, but I knew better. You belong anywhere your mind can go." The room erupts in applause, and Tasha's crying, Ruth's beaming, and Javier, now a trainer for inclusion, gives her a proud nod. It's a moment that feels like the sun breaking through clouds, bright and warm. But here's the thing, Lila's story isn't just about her. It's about all of us, about those times we've been told we don't fit, don't belong, don't measure up. So what do you think? Was Monica just having a bad day? Or was it something deeper, jealousy, maybe, or some old grudge against kids who rise above? And what about those new rules? Comment 1 if you're all about transparent complaint tracking, 2 for anti-bias training, 3 for recording rights, or 4 for the diversity board. Hit like if you think every kid deserves a fair shot, and share your own story below. Have you ever had a fight to belong? Lila's listening, and so am I.